Hello there. I have a whole lot of first impressions to do. I haven't done one of these in a long time. A few of these I told you I would do, and a couple others just fell in. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the new Tom Ford's, the Atelier d'Orient line. Now these ones I have tried out. I've worn them somewhat extensively. There are 4 of them. First 2 I'm going to get into are the 2 best ones, I think. First one is Rive d'Ambre. Rive d'Ambre. This one, when it first was announced, a lot of people thought this was going to be a Amber Absolute substitute. And it is not. It is nowhere near that. It is just about a polar opposite of Amber Absolute. This is a dry, spicy citrus with a very, very faint amber background. It's nice. I actually wore it to work today. My main problem with it is that the performance is not good. It lasts a decent amount of time. It'll last about 8 hours or so, but it's very, very much a skin scent. It does not project at all. And this was on a hot day too, so I would say if they upped the oomph of the fragrance a little bit, added a bit more amber, this would be nice. But as it stands, it is a fairly nice take on a citrus. It does have some nice kind of spicy notes to it. I'm a little bit higher on it now than I was when I first smelled it. When I first smelled it, I thought that this was really something more from an Aqua de Parma line than I would expect from Tom Ford. It's not a knock on Aqua de Parma, it just is in that same vein. But I don't know. It's okay. It's good. This has potential, we'll say. Next is by far my favorite of the line. This is Plum Japonais. This was the one I was looking forward to when I first read about the line, and when I first smelled it at the store. I can tell you, my reaction was very good. Very good. This one smells like a Tom Ford. It really does. It's a really, really nicely well done plum note on top. It's not sugary sweet. It's a very reserved sweetness, and the base is very similar to the Japon Noir and Bois Rouge. So if you are a fan of either one of those 2 juices, you will definitely like this. Basically, if you take those 2, in the case of Japon Noir, take out the leather note, and in the case of Bois Rouge, take out the redwood note and replace it with plum, and you'll have something very close to this. The longevity and projection is about the same as both of those 2. It's not the same by any means. I'm not saying that he just re-released the same thing. The plum note, which is present throughout, really does take it in a different direction. But this is good. This was a winner for him. Plum Japonais. Alright, the other 2. Not as high on them. Frankly, I don't think they're that good, but we'll get into them anyways. This one is Fleur de Chine. See, I didn't even put it in an atomizer. That's how much I don't really care about it. The other 2 are very floral. Very, very floral. And while I certainly am not opposed to florals, I don't really find them to be, these ones, to be really anything spectacular, nothing to write home about. This one, Fleur de Chine, really just a very basic white floral. There's not a whole lot to it that separates it from a lot of the other florals out there. It's not bad, but it's first of all, it's not something for me. It's not something I like. Second of all, it's kind of forgettable. I don't know. That one goes in the garbage. I would not. Obviously can't comment on projection, longevity, any of that. The other one is Shanghai Lily. My nose is going to go nuts by the end of this video. I should preface this by saying I don't like the smell of lilies that much, at least in perfume on me. It's really not something, you know what, I'm not even going to put this on paper. I have worn this one. I'm surprised he released this because this is really, it shares some similarities with his Lys Fumé that he released last year with the Jardin Noir line. This one has a little bit more spice to it. I think I've read that there's supposedly an incense note in here. I didn't get a whole lot of it. It's okay, but it's really, it goes in the same direction as Lys Fumé, where it's kind of a heavy lily note with some things surrounding it, but at its core, it's still a lily-based fragrance. So if you like lilies, try it. Maybe it's something different for you. But for me, it's really not my cup of tea. Wasn't really that strong. It was, you know, average performance on that. So overall, the line is, I would say it's better than his Jardin Noir last year, which was everything other than Cafe Rose was just an abject failure, just complete and utter disaster. At this time, at least, he released one in the Plum that was really a hit, for me at least. And I tell you, the minute I smelled that, I just smiled. It was what I'd been looking for from him. And the Rive d'Ambre has potential, but its performance might bring it down a little bit. So, moving along, let's go on to these guys. I recently split these. This is the Mancera line, the Montal lookalikes. So if you're in the split, the bottles just came in today, so they'll be out in the mail probably the next... I'll have them out by Friday. How about that? It's Wednesday night, I'll have them out for Friday. Or Saturday morning at the very latest. So these two, I did wear these, at least I wore this one for a little while after I got it out of the store. So I know what this smells like already. I'm not going to smell it. First, let me tell you a little bit about these, since this line is new both to me and to just about everybody, at least in the U.S. Glass bottle, not aluminum, like Montal. Screw cap bottle. Top comes off. Nice little logo on top there. Very simple presentation, but it's nice. And for us splitters out there, if you are a splitter, you will appreciate this. The top screws off. That makes splitting so much easier. You can just use a little pipette, take it right out, no problems. So much easier that way than having to spray it out. But the gist with this one, anybody who is in this split, and anybody who tries this juice, the minute you spray it, you are going to think this smells like Aventus. So all you Aventus fanboys out there, try it. Now, personally, obviously I've tried Aventus numerous times. I like it, it's good juice, but I'm not head over heels in love with it by any means. This one shares similarities with it in that it has a pineapple-ish feel to it. So if you think that by nature of it having a pineapple note, it's the same as Aventus, fine. After wearing it, there are distinct differences to me. There was a very noticeable woody base to it, as evidenced by the Bois name. There's a few... It doesn't have the smoky texture of Aventus. That kind of smoked pineapple. It's... I don't know, it has something to it. I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet. It doesn't have I don't know. I can't think of the words. Performance. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Out of the two of these that I've tried so far, excellent. So this carries on the Montal flag of enormous longevity, although apparently they're having their own problems. But either way, no issues with longevity or projection from this. Really well done. I haven't tried enough Montals to know if there's a counterpart to this, so to speak, if there's one that's similar to this. But I assure you, on the first spray, the first thing you'll think of is Aventus. This is not a fresco. I'm not trying to hype this as Aventus, replacement. I would classify them as cousins at best. Are they similar in some ways? Yes, but there's also differences. I would not qualify this as a replacement for Aventus, and nor would I call Aventus a replacement for this. I think they both stand on their own feet. But it's very good juice, and those of you who are in the split, I think you'll like it. Now, this guy. Black Intensitive Oud. Intensitive, not intensive. Intensitive. I wasn't lying in all those messages I sent where I used the word intensitive. That's its name. Now, when I looked into this, the obvious comparison was Montal's Black Oud. And the notes lent me to think that it would be a Montal Black Oud. Now, I should tell you, I sprayed this on a card about 4 hours ago on the same piece of paper. And I came back to my apartment after going to the gym after about 2-3 hours. One spray on a card, my entire apartment smelled like this. The whole damn place did. The minute I walked in, I was suffocated by it practically. This stuff is strong as hell. Just from that. It is not similar to Black Oud, though. I don't need to spray it. I don't want to suffocate myself again. And I've got more things to spray. This is not a clone of Black Oud by any means. This has a much sweeter base to it. When you first spray it on, you get a blast of the sweetness to it. They use a black currant note in this as well as some of their other fragrances that I was really interested in trying, and it comes off nicely with this. You still do get the oud, you still do get the rose, and it's very much in the same vein as a Montal oud and a Montal rose, but it's surrounded by a lot of other noticeable things that take it in a different direction. There's a peach note in it that part of me wishes it wasn't there, because it does kind of have a bit of a peach sweetness to it that I don't think is a very good addition to it. It's not very strong, but it's there, and I kind of wish it wasn't. There is a good amount of noticeable saffron in there. So, for those of you who are oud rose lovers, you'll definitely like this. But it's a little different. I've not smelled an oud rose like this before, with what they did with it. So I think it's definitely a good addition to the genre. It's definitely different. It's not just another oud rose that you've smelled many times. It's very distinctive. You would recognize the smell as this one specifically, whereas a lot of the others, they start to blend together. So performance, obviously, as I said, excellent. I don't even have to put this on my skin to tell you that. If one spray on a piece of paper will fill an entire room after 2-3 hours, then that tells you all you need to know. So, if you're in the split, I think you'll like it. I'm intrigued by it, to say the least. I'm intrigued by this whole line, and especially for the price. This is a 120 milliliter bottle, and it costs the exact same price as the 100 milliliter Montals, $160, and you can get it from Min with a 15% discount. So this stuff is really, really inexpensive. If you get in on a split, or even if you just want to find someone and split the bottle halfway, Really, really inexpensive. They do also have 60 milliliter bottles right now. I don't believe Min has them in stock. So if you're in the US, you are kind of relegated to this. But good juice. Give it a try. Now, with the order, Min sent me a few samples of other Manceras that I have not tried yet, so these are actually real first impressions. The first one is called Sand Oud. Sand. I had read some reviews on it, and supposedly, this is an oud with a flare-like addition of Towers Lardo Desert Marroquin. Let's see. I've not sprayed this at all, so this is my first run-in with this stuff. And the Mancera samples come with a sprayer, unlike the stupid Montal ones that just come in the vial. Sprayer, use it. Alright, let's see what this is like. Oh yeah, I definitely see that. Oh, that's interesting. I definitely get a vibe of the Tower, the Lardo Desert Marroquin, with oud. And maybe some other kind of spice in there. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's actually... I believe this one had that black currant note in it. And there's a faint sort of sweetness in it. It's almost a little bit floral. Wow. This is interesting. I don't know if I like it, but I can tell you I've never smelled anything like it. How's that for a pun? This almost smells a little bit like a... It's odd. Now it's taken much of it. This is the best way I can describe it. If you took the smell of a plant shop, you know, when you go into those like stores, they have the rounded roof that's kind of glass and they have plants growing there and you can buy them, and you stuck it in the middle of a desert. That's kind of what this smells like. It's very different. Very different. Wow. I'll have to revisit this, but if for no other reason, let me mark it actually. For no other reason than this is different. And I'm always looking for something different. And you should too. That's worth trying. Alrighty. Sand Oud. Let's move on. There's two more here. This one is Roses Greedy. There's the Montal motif again with the greedy. Let's see here. Supposedly this one is very fruity and floral. I expect it to be on the feminine side, but we shall see. Oh, and it is. Yeah. It is a fruity, sweet rose. Not bad. I'm not sure I would ever wear this. Probably wouldn't. But there's some nicely well done... That's a nice rose note in there. I will say, in these four that I've now sampled, there is definitely a good quality to this juice. A lot of people have knocked Montal as being loud and perform well, but that they're not the most quality ingredients. I would say that's definitely a difference here. That's a very nice rose note. Very nice. And roses are not cheap. And they can be screwed up and they can be done poorly, and this is not. It's nice. Definitely on the feminine side. Unless you're a guy who likes wearing very fruity, floral things. This reminds me of something, and I can't quite put my finger on it. It says a tad bit of Alien from Mugler. Just with very toned down the jasmine from Alien. And you get a little bit close to this. Not bad. If you like that genre, check it out. Alright, Rose is Greedy. And the last one is from Mancera. This one's called Kumkat Wood. Supposedly, and from my short research, it's a fresh one in a more summer genre. Let's give it a shot. What I have left of my nose. I can already smell. Yeah. It's fresh, but it's a little bit different. Definitely some bergamot right off the top. But there is noticeable woodiness. Definitely some lemon in there. A woody, fresh lemon. Nothing terribly groundbreaking, but I will say they did put a nice emphasis on the wood here. A lot of times a fragrance will bill itself as a woody, fresh, floral, but the woods will be so toned down and tame that it may as well not be there. This one has a very noticeable wood note to it. It's a very light wood. Trying to think of like a comparison to make a type of wood. Imagine like a freshly cut 2x4. That would be pretty close to it. It's not an overwhelming wood note like a cedar or a thick oak or a darker wood. This one's much lighter. Not a sandalwood, but well, maybe it is. But I like that. This could definitely work well for a warm day in the spring or the summer. If you're looking for, you don't want to go full head first into the fruits and the fresh notes, and you still want to maintain some of that woodiness. It's a good option. I will definitely give that one another try. So, of the 5 Manceras that I've tested here, really only one of them I didn't like, and even that it wasn't because it was bad juice, just not really my thing. So I would definitely recommend looking into the line. Definitely. It's very good, from what I can tell. Now the last one, a very, very generous subscriber of mine here on Base Notes on YouTube, swapped with me a lab sample of Francis Kurjan's new one, Aqua Vitae, a few weeks back. I've worn this a few times since then. Great guy who's nice enough to send me this in exchange for a couple of things so I could get my nose on it before it came out. I have worn this numerous times. And I have to be honest. I'm not a fan. Really am not. I've tried hard to like this. And I've obeyed my rule with MFKs where in the past a lot of them I've tried and on the first couple of wearings hated it and came back to it later and turned out to love it. And I'm trying to hold on to that. But this is... It's not bad. It doesn't smell bad. It smells good. But that's the problem with it, is this reeks of a just smell good fragrance. It's plain, it's linear. When I first read up on this before I got my nose on it, the base sounded very appealing with a vanilla tonka combination that really appealed to me, with even though the top notes were very fresh, that on the bottom really I wanted to see what he would do with it, but it really just doesn't come out for me. It's very, very faint at the end. It really doesn't go very far. And my biggest problem is, I used to have this bottle of Axe that was from this when I was like just going to college, I think. That had this. It was from some series that was like a single note or something like that, and it was a bergamot scent. I never used it as like a cologne, but when I didn't have time to shower before class, throw on some Axe. And I used to wear that one a lot. And this smells a lot like it. It's a little bit citrusy up top. It's definitely... Bergamot's not a listed note. I don't know how it's not, because there's something that smells a lot like bergamot in here. There's definitely some lemon, some other fresh citruses, some watery notes. But that's it. And it just flatlines. The projection on it is not good. Longevity was at best average. I might have gotten 5 or 6 hours out of it. I really didn't. I really want to like this, but I'm inclined to say this is a miss from him. I really think it is. Perhaps I'll like it down the road, and perhaps maybe you will. I can see why a lot of people would like this. It's very easy to like. It is quality. It is well done. He didn't drop the ball in terms of making a quality, well-made scent. I just think that more could have been done to this. This is about 2 or 3 notes short of being a really, really good warm-weather fragrance. But as it is right now, this is really pining to a very vanilla customer, somebody who just wants to smell good. This type of combination, maybe with lower quality notes, would be something I would expect out of a low-level designer. Even maybe a summer flanker of a lower designer. Again, with lower quality ingredients. But as it stands right now, nope, that's a no from me. So, that is that. If you have any questions on the juice, of course, let me know, and I will answer as best I can. If you tried any of the other Manceras, please let me know. I am definitely interested in finding out more about them. As far as Tom Ford, he does have more new ones coming out. Oud Wood is not getting discontinued. Stop listening to your uninformed store associates. It is not getting discontinued. In fact, it's coming out with its own bath and body line. There's soaps and lotions and stuff that's coming out with it. It's going nowhere. It's being phased into his new Oud line. It's coming out in the fall. I've seen the documentation. Somebody's actually posted pictures of the new Oud Wood bottle with the new black label that the other two are going to have. The other two are Tobacco Oud and Oud Fleur, which they're Oud. You know how I feel about more Ouds coming out, but I'll try them. And frankly, I'm actually looking forward to the Tobacco Oud because that's a combination that hasn't been done too much. And I do trust Tom to do well with very dark, heavy notes. That's what he does well. I'm happy to see him going back to that. So I'll give those a shot. They're not going to be out for a few months. They'll probably be out in the UK and in Europe before they hit the States. In fact, I know they will. Just Google them. You'll find some leaked pictures of the bottles online. They're really nice. They have black labels on them. So that's that. Oud Wood's going nowhere. Just don't worry about it. So if you're in the 2 splits, I will get those out for you in the next couple of days. Otherwise, I will see you soon.